The Dig by Lou Win. At Rise, Benson and Christy sit opposite each other at the table. Christy is holding her hand to her forehead, looking discouraged, while Benson lectures her.
You've got to choose who you want to work with. Frank is going to be a bit off his rocker lately, and his latest alas, poor you're like I knew him well was monologue. Wasn't even funny the first time.
I liked it, since they found the skull in the well over there.
Right. You might have chuckled. I mean, I even forced to smile just to be polite. The first time, but don't encourage him. Also, he shouldn't be carrying around a precious artifact. Bad example for everyone, especially this young undergrad here. And not to get started on him, but what is wrong with that kid? Always complaining, acting like he knows more than me, saying I should do this or some other way. I know you recommended him, but...
Oh, that's just Kevin. Not to worry about him. He seems totally into the idea of working with you. The top team working in Britain right now.
For the time being, yes. But I want to warn you to be less, shall we say, collegial with him. He seems to think you're encouraging.
Thanks for the warning. I certainly do not want to encourage anything with him. Are you kidding? Not any flirtation. You know, right? That I'm only here for 6 weeks, which is a long time to be away from my husband and children.
And the world of archaeology is a very small and gossipy one, so I'm sure you've noticed. Even a harmless flirtation. No, I'm not saying you are flirting, only that everything you say and do can be misinterpreted and wagged about among your colleagues.
Oh, I take your point, and I appreciate the fact that you are not one of the gossips.
There's an awkward pause, which is interrupted by the arrival of Porter, the undergrad, carrying a cardboard carry-out container with 4 cups. He sets down the carry-out tray and puts out drinks for the other 2, one for himself and the other at the empty seat.
Did you hear the lady from the museum is going to be arriving today?
Oh, the lady from the museum? Does that lady have a name? And how did you come at the news of this lady arriving?
I ran into her at the tea shop. That's why the 4th one is tea instead of coffee. She can't abide the coffee they serve in this town, is what she said. She should be here any minute now.
And her name? Did you catch her name along with her drinks order?
Yes, of course. She introduced herself to me. She said she recognized your vehicle, so she knew I must be out here with...
Right, and her name?
Miss Engels, or I should say Dr. Engels.
You're right, you should say Dr. Engels.
And she was talking to another guy in the tea shop, another archaeologist. Sounded like he was going to come out here with her too.
Oh, I heard Dr. Frank was coming out too. Is that who it was?
Yes, that's right. That's his name. Dr. Frank, like Frankenstein. I'll always remember that name.
Mr. Porter, if you'll excuse us for a moment, thank you for bringing the refreshments, of course. But I must speak to Miss Norwich for a moment before our guests arrive.
Porter nods and moves away out of hearing distance, looks back at Benson once, but then stares at the ground, kicking pebbles and drawing pictures in the sand with the top toe of his shoe. Professor Benson nods grimly at Christy, who steps close.
Ms. Norwich, I know I tasked you with finding a field assistant from your department, but I'm unclear as to why you recommended Porter.
Several reasons. I was his teaching assistant in his Anthropology 302 class, and he seemed committed to sound scientific methods and principles. His research papers were thoughtful and did not appear to be written by AI or paper form, if you know what I mean.
Sure, but he seems entirely ill-suited to the work we're doing here. He alternates between fawning over me and the other professors on the one hand, and then questioning our every decision on the other. Look at him right now, stumbling around like a sulking child because, what? I don't even know what's on his mind right now. But I must admit, he's good at fetching coffee, cleaning the trowels, and writing the reports. It's just that what we need here is someone with a little more pizzazz, who exhibits the enthusiasm for the work that, for instance, Professor Frank has brought to bear on his research.
That's strange. I had the impression that you didn't like Professor Frank's interpretations.
I've told Frank that his romantic notions about the historical background of these bones are of no interest to him. He wants to claim some connection between the Roman era British settlements and early hominids, which is ridiculous. and we haven't even conclusively dated these bones yet. But here's the thing. You need to talk to that kid. Tell him
To
to...
what? Actually, you should be the one to tell him whatever you want to tell him.
Fine, I will. Porter, get over here. I need to talk to you about your work in the field.
Yes, sir, please, whatever you'd like me to do.
I hope you're aware of the great privilege it is to be working with these scientists at this site. We call it a dig, and in fact, we spend much of the time in the dirt. But
Ingalls and Agnes Frank enter. Professor Benson, interrupted, waves his hand dismissively at Porter and turns to the senior scientists. He speaks to them in a complete change of tone.
welcome to our little dig. What a pleasure it is to share our discoveries with you.
What have you done with poor Yorick? I promised Dr. Engels a first view, and I've unearthed, get it? Unearthed? Some new research on the DNA of these ancient Midlands folks, sure to catch the attention of the science-loving public.
Yes, very good, I'm sure. Dr. Engels, may I show you first the exact place where the skull was found?
I'd be delighted, thank you.
My dear, I'm so delighted to find you hard at work at this stage. What a pleasure it is to associate with you. So different from us dusty old men, am I right? We all admire you so much, you young women with your ambitions and your husbands who stay at home with your babies.
Yes, it is a step up from your generation. Oh, I didn't mean that as a dig. Did it? Oh, and I'm lucky. I know my husband is putting in his work on hold to make it possible for me to succeed at mine. But it's a new world, as you know, and at least as I hope.
Sorry I didn't know all of you were coming, or I would have got coffee for everyone. I did get tea for Dr. Engels. Okay.
So clever of you to call him Yorick. I must say, I'm sick of the way some field researchers are so academic in their approach. So hands off. Or if they do touch anything, it's with those horrible blue plastic gloves.
If I may. Yes,
He reaches for the skull, which she reluctantly hands it to him. He pretends to almost drop it, then laughs at the shocked expression on her faces.
Yes, it's as I thought. Although this is a renowned Roman-written site, I can tell at a quick exam that this skull did not belong to a Roman, nor to an ancient Brit.
Thank you, Dr. Frank. This is precisely the kind of information our public love. If I may take this artifact with me, we could display it as a prelude to the upcoming complete exhibit.
Oh, my dear, no, we have not quite done the preliminary work. Dr. Frank here is the expert on identifying the origins of such specimens, and he is, I'm sure, prepared to elucidate the complete origin of this specimen based not only on the skull, but the articulation of the bones and the spine and the connections, particularly when we find the femur here. Here, if I may.
He reaches for the skull, but as Engels hands it to him, it almost falls to the dirt. Porter reaches down and grabs it just before it hits the ground. He holds it up triumphantly, then pauses.
Did you hear that noise?
They're trying to get him to hand over the skull, but he holds onto it and shakes it a little. There's a small rattling sound.
There, that sound. Did you hear it?
He shakes the skull again as the professors jostle to reach for it. Frank takes Porter's elbow and is able to grab the skull.
Thank you, my dear boy. It is often the case that some small pebble or some small artifact has become lodged in the cavity of a relic such as this.
He shakes the skull harder than Porter had dared to, out falls a small object. Benson beats the others to reach down and grab the object.
It's metal. It's a bullet.
Engels holds out her hand and Professor Benson reluctantly hands her the object. She rolls it appreciatively between her fingers and holds it up to see it better.
This is a .303 caliber Lee Enfield cartridge. British, World War II era.
Give me that.
She doesn't give it to him. But Benson grabs the bullet from Engels and sputters a finger.
You people think you can come here and cast doubt upon our work?
Tosses the bullet to Christie, who catches it and hands it back to Engels.
How lucky am I getting this summer field job with world famous and extremely knowledgeable paleontologists.
Wow.